Imagine this: South Carolina, 1855. The air is thick with the sweltering summer heat and even thicker with the tensions of the antebellum South. On the surface, it's a world of rigid lines, master and slave, white and black, powerful and powerless. But history is never that simple. Beneath the surface, currents of faith, humanity, and quiet courage were carving new channels. And in the heart of this world, a story unfolded that turns our assumptions completely upside down. It's the story of a preacher who, against all odds, would lead his own master into the waters of baptism. This isn't just a historical footnote. This is the incredible true story of Reverend Joseph B. Williams. He was a man born into the brutal reality of slavery, yet he possessed a spirit and a faith that could not be chained. His voice, filled with conviction, echoed not just through the humble praise houses of the enslaved, but would eventually reach the very heart of the man who held his legal ownership papers. So, who was Joseph B. Williams? He wasn't just a laborer in the fields. From a young age, it was clear he was different. He carried a deep, unwavering faith, a powerful intellect, and a remarkable gift for oratory. While his days were dictated by the demands of the plantation, his soul was dedicated to a higher calling. He taught himself to read, poring over the Bible by candlelight, finding in its pages a message of liberation and universal love that transcended the man-made laws of his time. His reputation as a powerful preacher grew. He spoke with an authority that didn't come from a seminary, but from a profound connection to his faith. He preached a gospel of hope in a world of despair, of dignity in a system designed to strip it away. His sermons were a lifeline for his community, weaving together stories of Moses and the promised land with the lived reality of their own bondage, offering spiritual freedom when physical freedom seemed impossible. Now let's talk about his master. History often paints slave owners with a single monstrous brushstroke. And while the system itself was monstrous, the individuals within it were complex. We don't have his name recorded with certainty in many accounts, but we know he was a man of his time and place, a planter, a man of status, and by definition, a participant in the institution of slavery. He likely attended a formal segregated church, where the sermons were polite, the pews were polished, and the social order was comfortably affirmed. But something was stirring in him. Or maybe, just maybe, he heard something in the distance, the sound of powerful singing and impassioned preaching drifting from the slave quarters on a Sunday afternoon. He heard a raw, authentic faith. That his own sterile services lacked curiosity, or perhaps a deeper spiritual yearning, led him to listen. Imagine him standing at the edge of the woods, hidden from view, listening to Joseph Williams preach. He would have heard a man he legally owned speak with more wisdom and spiritual fire than any formally trained minister he'd ever known. Williams wasn't just reciting scripture. He was living it, breathing it, making it real for his congregation. He spoke of sin, redemption, and the humbling grace of God that is available to all, rich or poor, master or slave. This wasn't a one-time occurrence. The master found himself drawn back, again and again, to these clandestine services. He started to see Williams not as property, but as a man of God. He began to grapple with his own soul, his own need for forgiveness, his own place in the eyes of a creator who makes no distinction between skin colors. The internal struggle must have been immense. To accept the spiritual authority of an enslaved man was to upend his entire worldview. It meant admitting that the person he considered his subordinate was, in a spiritual sense, his superior. It was a radical, revolutionary idea that challenged the very foundation of the society he lived in. Eventually, the weight of conviction became too much to bear. The master approached Reverend Williams. We can only imagine the scene. The planter, a man accustomed to giving orders, now stood humbled, requesting not labor, but spiritual guidance. He confessed his faith and made the most extraordinary request of all. He asked Reverend Joseph B. Williams to baptize him. This moment is breathtaking. Baptism is a public declaration of a new life in faith, a symbol of being washed clean. For the master, it meant publicly submitting to the spiritual leadership of his own slave. It was a profound act of humility. For Reverend Williams, it was a moment of incredible moral and spiritual weight. He was being asked to extend God's grace to the very man who symbolized his oppression. What would you do in that situation? It would have been so easy, so human to refuse. But Reverend Williams was a true minister of the gospel. He saw not a master, but a soul seeking salvation. He understood that in the waters of baptism, all human hierarchies are washed away. There is no master, no slave, only children of God. And so, on that day in 1855, they went down to a river in South Carolina. The roles were reversed. The enslaved man held the authority, and the master became the humble penitent. As Reverend Williams lowered his master into the water and raised him back up, he wasn't just performing a religious rite. He was enacting a powerful living sermon. He was demonstrating that faith has the power to shatter the chains of the human heart, to heal divides, and to create a new reality, even if only for a moment, where love and grace reign supreme. This event didn't magically end slavery, of course. The legal and social structures remained firmly in place, but it planted a seed. It was a testament to the enduring power of faith and the unbreakable dignity of the human spirit. It proved that true authority doesn't come from whips or chains or legal documents, but from wisdom, character, and a connection to something greater than ourselves. The story of Reverend Joseph B. Williams baptizing his master is more than just a historical curiosity. It's a powerful lesson for us today. It reminds us to look beyond the labels and hierarchies our society creates. It challenges us to see the humanity in everyone and to recognize that wisdom and leadership can be found in the most unexpected places. It's a story of radical forgiveness and profound grace, a quiet revolution of the heart that echoes through the generations. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. Stories like this are so important to remember and to share. If this story moved you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible tales from the pages of history. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.